It's a poison. That doesn't help the stress level. No, don't do it. Get a grip. This stupid video I just showed you. I almost stroked out and died over it. You're watching a different show. It's donkey. You ain't a captain of nothing but a sinking ship. Don't do this to me, Harry. The Ohio State. It's Ohio State. What do you mean, the? 312-988-15.
Hello?
You tell Johnny all you've heard and seen. Sometimes it's good to just yell about football. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Welcome in. Welcome back, folks. The riding waves of recruiting momentum. I don't know, you guys. This is getting we're in a situation. Welcome in. Glad you're here to start your Wednesday, middle of the week. We're in a situation, man. We're riding the waves of either perceptual or practical recruiting. And it's almost day to day, article to article, podcast to podcast, tweet to tweet, backboard posting, or whatever. You're right. Yeah, we're not the only ones, Tex ND, by the way, on that. It's amazing to see, especially in the middle of summer. I'm calling it the middle of summer. Even though it hasn't technically started yet, don't get me yelling about that already. Oh, 4th of July, I guess we'll call that the beginning of summer. It makes no sense. Anyways, you're in this dead zone where you have nothing but recruiting really to focus on other than the bad injury news we got recently. And you're riding the wave, baby. And it's been negative. Michigan got a couple of guys, bad taste in your mouth. Then it's like, I don't know how we're feeling about this next batch of guys. And there's a lot of anxiety and everybody's feeling kind of down. And we had a rough Monday Night Raw. Looking at some film and breaking down where we're at. Had some tough truths told. And then all of a sudden, poof. Positivity. All right. And it's like, I don't know. Things are looking pretty good here. We're feeling pretty good there. We're looking good here. We're feeling good about later in the week. JOB to ND. Fire up the t-shirts. We're feeling pretty good about it. I don't know what to believe. So, I don't know, you guys. It's just, yeah. Are you going to buy in? Are you going to believe? Are you all these tweets that it's just like they're not saying exactly what they're saying? What they're not saying at all, but they're saying enough. It's just Tex ND. I can't believe the Purdue game is sold out already. I thought about that too, because I'll be honest, it's been a little rough to fill out all the tickets we need and the parking and everything. It has been rough. In a way, it wasn't when we did Miami, Ohio, and Central Michigan or whatever before. It just worked out. Purdue's the game. And if you're looking at that and you're going, I can't believe it's already sold out or whatever, what's the deal? I think it's as simple as Purdue's an in-state team. I'm sure a lot of their people are buying up tickets too. Is it that simple? That Purdue's a pretty big, I just think it's a matter of Purdue's right down the road and those people are going to come to Notre Dame. And so you have a lot of those people and it's not like us, like Miami, Ohio or something. So I'm just wondering, Ryan, I thought that too. Somebody's got to answer. Now we're getting sidetracked. Callers, I'm coming to you. Didn't even do the introduction. Isn't this how it goes? And you know what else I'm going to complain about? Bro, I was working on my laptop last night. and I didn't even notice it. The battery went dead and the computer went off, and then I plugged it in to charge it overnight. I log back in. Everything's different. What do you mean? The battery ran out and now my computer's got to restart from scratch? It doesn't even have the right date. It doesn't have the right time. None of my stuff's showing where it does. Just because the battery went out, does it make it forget everything I've been doing for 4 years? Son of a buck on the computer. Here's the deal with this Purdue thing. You got to explain to me how in the hell Notre Dame playing Purdue is like $200 a ticket and make that make sense to me. You got to make that make sense to me. How is the Purdue game like a $200 ticket in the upper deck or whatever with fees? Are you outside your mind? It's Purdue. Anyway, so I don't know what's going on, but I've heard from a lot of people, it's a lot harder to get tickets and get housing and get everything else. That may end up being one where I just drive in that morning early and drive out that night and not stay. It's been tough to find arrangements and whatever. But you got to explain to me, how is a team you beat 100-3 or whatever last year? How does that warrant $200 tickets or whatever? I just thought they would be considered a lower level game. Apparently they're marking it up for the in-state value battle or whatever. I guess, yeah, they should pay you to watch Purdue. You're damn right. Instead of me paying $220 in the upper deck. I mean, geez. So anyways, I don't know. Maybe I'm a cheapskate or I'm not used to the way things go or whatever. But I was a little surprised to see how quick that filled up and how hard it is to find everything. Demand goes up when you reach the title game. Well, Jay Carr, does that apply to recruiting too? Does that apply to recruiting too? Silly, stupid John thought you make this deep playoff run, should be a lot easier to recruit elite guys. I mean, you want proof of concept. Notre Dame makes a deep run, goes all the way to championship. That's got to help things, right? Right? Just wondering. Half the money's going to the Kelly Cares Foundation. And the Kelly Cares Foundation, the money goes in there and it shoots right to the local Louisiana Country Club to pay those monthly fees at the pro shop. Kelly cares about his handicap. You're like, whatever, man. So anyways, Irish Life says, I've been to over 250 home games and only spent over 200 a handful of times. I'm just saying, I was a little shocked when I log in and I see the Purdue Notre Dame prices. I was a little shocked. I get it. Maybe I'm old. The dollar doesn't count for what it did when I was little, whatever it is. It just seems like a lot, bro. It just seems like a lot. So what do I know? But my computer's messing up. Nothing's showing the way it does. The clock's wrong. The timer's wrong on StreamYard. I don't understand. Just because your battery runs out, your old computer's dead. Well, I mean, in theory, it forgets everything you did before. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. Watch Game Time. When you get close to the game, the prices will go down fast. The problem is a lot of people got to travel and they want to be able to plan that out with where they're going to stay and the whole thing and know they have tickets and parking or whatever. So I don't know. Jerry Reinsdorf's burner. John, I could get you into the White Sox stadium for less than $20. I don't rip you off like Indy. You've ripped off my entire love of the sport I grew up wanting to play. You've already ruined that. That isn't even about money. That's just about you ruining my baseball life. That's what you're doing. You're ruining my baseball life. And I don't appreciate it. You know, a boy's childhood love is his local baseball team, and you live and die with it, and you have ruined that for me. So I have no love for you at all. You've ruined it for me. Absolutely ruined it. Johnny, I smoked a pork butt on Father's Day. I'd eat some smoked meat. Yeah, but I'd eat that. It's just a chunk of meat. I would eat that. The only ones I don't eat are Like when they're so spicy, your head's sweating and you're on fire and you got to run to, you got to, with wings or something, you got to run to the toilet every 2 minutes. That's not my idea of a comfortable meal. I'm sweating bullets. I'm crying. And it's like, this is a fun meal. We're doing this to ourselves. You see the WNBA fight yesterday? No, I did not. I don't watch that stuff. I just end up seeing the highlights of it. Caitlin Clark draining threes and whatever else she's doing, getting hit. Didn't she get poked in the eye? I think I heard about that. What are they doing? What are they doing? The old Three Stooges bit? Does anybody remember the Three Stooges? That was good. That was good, wholesome entertainment there. Oh, God. Anyways, so the point of this all was, now there's a turn of positivity with this recruiting thing. It was all negative. It was all bad, whatever. And now it's turning to where I'm told be optimistic and cautiously optimistic is what I've been told. Whenever I've been asked, yeah, she playing Ric Flair or something. Woo! Poke in the eye. I don't know what to believe. I don't know what to believe, you guys. I am being told, yeah, Mo, Larry, and John. Ain't that appropriate in a lot of ways? My main man, Martinez, he's out there working. It's 180 degrees humidity out there. It doesn't slow him down. I'm in the AC, okay? So are you buying the positivity? Are you buying the positivity? I have been told be cautiously optimistic about a lot of these targets, including the biggest of the big ones. Every single time you log on Twitter, you're going to have a different rumor about O'Brien and it just who's in the lead. And I've seen in the last 2 weeks, I've seen like 5 different angles here of who's in the lead and whatever's going to happen. And the rumors behind the scenes of what's going on and what Notre Dame's trying to do and all this stuff. I don't know. But it's wild. In the middle of when there's nothing going on in the summer, it is really wild to me just to ride these waves and ride these swings. And in a way, though, it makes perfect sense. If you're a diehard football fan of your college team, you're going to invest in recruiting because it's all you got in the summer, and then everything is going to get just magnified. Everything. Not my first rodeo going through the summer. You're begging for any scraps of information on anything, and it gets blown up. So now I'm saying, yeah, Mark, this is the big question. Callers, I'm coming right to you. I want to hear what you guys think. Are we getting our hopes up just to have our hearts broken? Twitter makes it seem like we're getting everybody. That's what I'm saying. So I am trying to just remain neutral and wait and see. But as a content, like a neutral arbiter, kind of a guy that throws content out there and sees what comes back, it's, for me, the riding of the wave is amazing. The riding of the wave is amazing because it is just up and down and positive and negative. And the whole fan base, everybody that's engaged now, you have a certain sect of people that are only going to engage when the calendar turns to August and get into the season. And the recruiting, it's like whoever we have on the team, that's who we play with. Let's just ride with that. But for the people here year round, the people that are totally obsessed with this stuff like we all are, you're going to ride the wave. You're going to ride the wave. All I know is I'm being neutral. I'm being neutral. I just can't do it, you guys. How many times have you allowed yourself to buy in emotionally and believe all the hype and the buildup and buy in and believe we're okay here, we're okay there, we're going to hold this recruit? Deuce Knight looks at Marcus as a father figure. No way he's going to flip. I was told that up until the second he flipped. Like every single time I asked, oh, don't worry about it, John. That relationship is real. The mom likes it. It's going to be fine. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. And then you had to worry about it. And I told this story before. I went to Notre Dame for the media event. I think it was end of July, beginning of August. And I went to Notre Dame, and they invite the media people there, especially the people at a new outlet. They had an event in the press box where they go over the rules. Here's what we expect you to do. Don't do this. You're not allowed to do that. Here's the protocol. They give you a sheet with a bunch of rules for the media to follow, do's and don'ts, that kind of thing. It was a great day. I felt really good to get in there and do all that. And dude, they had like some roast beef thing. It was the best thing I've ever eaten in my life, Jay Carr, to be honest. It was like one of the best meals. It was like high-end wedding food in this press box. It just melt in your mouth like roast beef and potatoes and dessert and the whole thing. It was an amazing meal. But so they do feed you. But you're sitting in that press box looking out over South Bend. You're at the very top. You're looking at the field, whatever. And we're there all day. And then we leave. And I'm in a great, great mood. I feel good about all this. Getting started with Sports Illustrated. I loved it. I was glad to be in the mix there, whatever. And I drive home 2 hours. I pull in the driveway, open up my phone, and there's 80 texts saying we're going to lose Deuce. It is just the story of my Notre Dame stupid life. I have a great Notre Dame day. The vibes are high. I have a smile on my face for once the whole drive home. And then I open my phone and it's all, we're going to lose Deuce. Okay. But I was told and reassured that everything was fine and that he was all in. And then that Marcus is his stepdad now and he loves him and it's genuine. Psych your mind, bro. So you can determine your own adventure. Determine your own adventure. All right? So whether you want to be cautiously optimistic, fully wait and see, I'm trying to remain neutral because I've just been down this road too many times. But cautiously optimistic was the messaging I got from the multiple people that I reach out to about the recruiting. And I always try and hit different people that aren't connected. It doesn't do me any good to talk to 3 people from the same outlet that all think the same thing and have the same information. I try and find diversified people that are getting it from different places. Every one of them said, be cautiously optimistic. So I don't know. Yeah, some of the same people that gave you the Deuce info. So I don't know, man. But the cryptic tweets are really getting to people. Couple super chats, and then we'll open up the lines here. If you're on hold, you're going to be on the air. $10 holler from Ryan Elliott. So hot. Want to play the football. We need it. Nice reference. Really nice reference there, Ryan. So hot. Want to touch the football. We need it. We're always scared about recruiting. Everything's terrible. Then we go to the Natty with half a team. I think we're all going to be just fine. Isn't that that's the interesting part of all this, man? You have these dichotomies. You have this challenge in your mind where you're like, look at what this team accomplished and how far it's come in 3 short years and how 30 years of postseason big game futility just crumbled down and we ran right through that barrier. Look at all that we did and accomplished. And you had 20 guys on the team with their legs chopped off like a World War I or something. And you still ended up making that run or whatever. And things are going good. And then you get into recruiting and you're like, man, it ain't that easy. You realize it's just not that easy. And I wanted a bigger bump of credibility in recruiting just coming off of that title run. I don't know if you're seeing it, man. I don't know if you're seeing it. Look at this. Ryan, I stopped at McDonald's and got a couple McMuffins. Now my back hurts. Did you see our boy Ronald there? Did he have the live chat up instead of the what is it? The drive-through monitor? He has the chat up and there's like 80 cars backed up because he's in there chatting. $5 Nikki Dean loves to be heard and seen. Always Irish will now be known as cautiously optimistic. That is the message I've got. That Veronica Vaughn. Oh, you guys are getting me with I could do the Billy Madison all day. It's just some of the funniest stuff. Real immature, right up my alley. Getting a prediction wrong is like the weatherman getting it wrong. Nothing happens. Exactly. See, there's freedom in this. There's big time freedom in this because you can always just say things change. It's like predicting the weather and then it's something different. And you go, well, what do you want me to do? The weather changed, things change. So you can always just log these predictions or whatever. And then if it doesn't work out, oh, the dynamic changed. Who knows? The dynamic shifted. What do you want me to do? So I don't know, man. It is it's whatever. Yeah, if you lose that guy to Penn State, it's just going to be really annoying. It's going to be really annoying. So whatever, man. Go ahead and crown them number one team, whatever. Dr. John, good morning, sir.
Good morning. Excuse me, you caught me by surprise there.
Well, there you go. We got you.
I was just going to suck on a cup of coffee here, but maybe I'll have to wait a little bit.
Well, I figure you got a tea time at Oakmont here to get to, so I wanted to let you get in and out.
Well, yeah, I'm going to get in and out, but it won't be for golf. I'm having my first PT session today for whatever this pain is, this pinched nerve or whatever. So
that's not nearly as fun as golfing. I'm sorry about that.
No, you got that right. Did play a little geezer golf yesterday with the old guys. Had a good time. Gorgeous day here in Big Sky. But I got to go over the hill and start this regimen. I just hope whoever I get knows what they're doing.
Yeah,
this ain't fun.
Yeah, I bet. Good luck with that. Quick recovery there. Any thoughts on the U.S. Open before we talk Notre Dame? I like seeing those guys struggle for a week, Doc. I like a tournament where minus 28 doesn't win it at some luxury resort course where it's a putting contest. I like seeing those guys struggle to win our country's championship. Damn it. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
That was a great finish. Just a great finish. And so weird with that delay. I mean, Spawn, he was like 5 over before the delay, and then I think he was 4 under after the delay.
Yeah,
so.
Shot a 40 on the front. Great. A 40 on the front 9 was a rough start for him with some bad breaks. A good lesson in sticking with it and not giving up and all that. And then I kind of figured Adam Scott would fall off. It's hard for a 44-year-old to come back after that delay. When you're 44, It's different. You tighten up. Even if you're staying loose, it's not the same thing. It is always hard for an older guy to come back after that kind of break. That's tough.
Yeah, he was my guy, too. That's who I was really rooting for.
Me too. Yeah.
Just because he was the closest to my age.
Yeah, I kind of, but I've always liked him. A good guy, never caused any waves, always classy, kind of a guy from my era growing up. So I was kind of hoping the old guy could pull it out. But I'm happy for JJ. That's life-changing. So good for him.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, especially having lost that playoff to McElroy and the Players. So
yeah, so good for him.
Yeah. It was a, say, is there going to be a extravaganza announcement by O'Brien or Finley? What's going on?
I believe isn't Friday is JOB's announcement. I believe somebody tell me what time it was. I didn't find the time the other day when I was looking, but I think it's supposed to be Friday. And I don't know, Doc. Listen, Goolsby tells me, he texts me yesterday and he says, this O'Brien kid is probably the best prospect I've ever looked at their film. He could play right away. He's fantastic. Like literally Goolsby watches this film nonstop. And he said, this is the best film I've ever looked at. That he might be the best prospect for Notre Dame that I've looked at their film. That tells me a lot.
Wow.
So I don't know.
Well,
I don't know. And then even when he announces it's not over with the, like, that's the other thing.
I know.
Like that, it never ends, Doc. It never ends because even if he puts on a Notre Dame hat later this week, you know how that is. A guy like that, people are going to be throwing him stuff nonstop, and it's going to go till the end, and it's going to be one of those grinds. But you know what? If you want to play with the big boys and land the very best prospects in America, that's what you're signing up for. If you want an RKG like John Kennedy, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. He'll be loyal to Notre Dame, but Georgia and Ohio State and everybody else ain't calling. So whatever.
Oh man, I tell you what, like I said a couple calls ago, I wish that when they committed, they had a sign right then, rather than put us through this for 10 months or 8 more months or whatever the heck it is.
Yeah, but as far as emotional momentum with the fan base, it would go a long way to helping. There is still some of this. The Michigan thing hurt. Losing 2 guys to Michigan. I know Blade wasn't one everybody was super stressed out about, but losing a couple guys to Michigan made for a last rough week and a half. If you could start to balance that out, it'd be very much appreciated.
Okay, one last thing. At 9:42 p.m. on Friday, I'll give you a call and tell you it's officially summer.
There you go. I appreciate that. I've been taking I've been taking crap this whole time for saying the dog days is summer, and everybody's like, Adam Dowling's like, John, it isn't summer for like another month. Why don't you chill out? It's like, I don't know. It's hot out. The kids aren't in school. That's summer. It's summer to me.
You know what? You can call it whatever you want.
Man,
you have my permission.
Jeez. Yeah, it is. I mean, if that isn't summer to me, and it's just like summer starts right before 4th of July, that just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I'm looking at summer like winding down after 4th of July, but what do I know? My brain is a football calendar. That's the only reason.
Well, summer, as a kid, summer started as soon as you walked out of school for the last time.
Yeah, I think that's what's on my mind.
That's summer. Anyway, shout out to Chicago's finest, Tom. I love listening to him. He's got that Chicago twang, as Connor does too. I don't know why you don't have it, but
some people,
it's fun to listen to those guys.
Some people think I do, and every once in a while I hear that, and then other people think I don't. I mean, both of those guys it's pretty heavy. With mine, I don't know. Some people hear it and other people don't. I don't know.
Well, we'll keep an eye on O'Brien on Friday, and you have a great show, and keep up the spirit.
Hey, we will, and we'll be here to monitor the vibes, baby. We'll monitor the vibes. Hey, feel better quick, Doc John. Don't let him mess with you.
Okay, bud. Take care.
Yeah, have a good one. See ya. We got some callers today we're going to get to. Oh, geez, what is the deal with this? Tex ND. I hear John puts ketchup on a hot dog, and what the hell's wrong with that? Don't start making me yell about wiener already. We're 28 minutes in. You're going to make me start yelling about wiener. Here's the thing. It rubs me the wrong way when all these people are like, you're not from Illinois or Chicago. If you put ketchup on a hot dog, that's not the real way. Who the hell are you to tell me what I can have on a hot dog? What do you care? Back off. I've always hated that. Oh, you're not doing it for real if you get a ketchup on it. What do you care what I have on my hot dog? You're not eating it. Back off. You're not 12 anymore, John. No ketchup. Oh, yeah. Here's my response to that, Jimmy James. Jimmy James sounds like Jimmy Johns. Are you his brother? Here's the deal with that. You're not 12 anymore. Hot dogs are a 12-year-old's meal. So, don't talk to me as a 47-year-old overweight adult male telling me that ketchup on a hot dog is wrong. Eating a hot dog is a kid's thing anyways. So, don't get off my back. You got to have a full salad on your hot dog. The hot peppers with the stem hanging out, chopped up, whatever those are. Back off. Back off. All you need is the bun, a wiener, a squirt of ketchup. That's all you need. Anything else, you're being gluttonous. You're being gluttonous. You don't need it. You don't need it. Phil, foot long, you wish. What is the deal with our people getting injured? College huddle. I got hit by a car, broke my back when I was 17. Been dealing with back issues my entire life. First time with a pinched nerve. Ooh, man. I would eat some a cheese dog. I don't know about that chili. the chili on that. Ooh, the chili could hit you and you could have a problem with that. You got to be careful with the chili dog, baby. You got to make sure when you're eating that chili dog, you're within eye shot of the nearest rest facilities. You go, a chili dog. Oh, that could settle rough. That could settle only temporarily. Holy cow. Unbelievable. Yeah, Pat. We had a friend in college that got ran over by a car. Got hit by a car going to the bar and refused medical attention and met us out. You just got to drink it off. You just got to drink enough. It'll wear off that pain. Don't worry about it. I was 17 in 93. After ND lost to BC, I jumped in front of a car. I don't blame you for that. And then look at this. Look at this. What is with our people, man? Never stop working out. Recovering quadriplegic of 3.5 years here after accident. Proved all the doctors wrong. This is amazing. This is an amazing medical feat by the Always Irish crowd. Unbelievable. Dude was bloodied and concussed and didn't care. He wanted to party. It's fun to think about a guy coming in the bar all bleeding and all beat up and everything. And he's like talking to the ladies. He's got road rash everywhere. He's all dirty and all banged up. And he's like, hey, girl, what are you up to? Never mind my bleeding wounds. We're good to go. Let's dance. Oh, it's good to see you guys. Let's go back to the calls. We got a few today. God bless you guys that have recovered from these injuries. I had a back brace when I was younger. I got back problems too, man. I got some 1 in a million rare disease that like affects your spine and your growth when you're hitting puberty. And it caused a lot of pain to where I couldn't like run without being in like tears from the pain. I had a back brace through high school for a lot of it. I don't wish that on my worst enemy. It was absolutely miserable and brutal. It wasn't scoliosis. It's a cousin of that. That's like 1 in a million. And they're like, oh, I go to Rush in Chicago to this fancy hospital. Oh, you're the lucky one. This affects 1 in like 5 million people randomly. It's not even genetic. There's nothing you did to cause it, but it just affects certain people. Johnny Boy had, it was very, very uncomfortable. I wouldn't wish that on anybody. Uh-oh. WPP, if you're on hold, you're going to be on the air. What's going on?
Hey, John, it's Pat from West Palm.
What's going on, Pat? How you doing, buddy?
Pretty good, John. Listen, the Patreon stuff is really, really good. And, you know, I can't endorse it more. It's the best $20 anybody's going to spend in a given month. So I just want to throw that out there before I forget to mention that. Now that said, there is some stupidity that comes out of those shows too, and I feel duty bound to mention that, John. I do. The notion that somehow because Notre Dame hasn't put a receiver into the first round in 15 years is going to discourage current high school kids from coming to Notre Dame really is a silly notion, right? Because the coaches change. So if Notre Dame had the same wide receiver coach, same offensive coordinator for the last 15 years, it'd be a fair argument. But we have a new wide receivers coach and a new offensive coordinator. And our offensive coordinator, Denbrock, didn't he put 2 guys in the wide receivers in the first round at LSU just 2 years ago, whatever it was? So, you know, you hear a lot of silly stuff come out of people's mouths who really should know better than to advance arguments like we can't recruit wide receivers because we've never recruited wide receivers. I mean, Notre Dame hadn't recruited a good wide receiver in about 10 years prior to Charlie Weiss's arrival. And he pulled in Tate and Floyd and, you know, so, you know, you hear things, look, everybody should subscribe to Patreon. but there's a lot of moronic stuff you're going to hear there too. A lot of silly stuff too.
Hey, you're gonna get that all over, man. Look at Twitter. Like, if you think that's rough, go on Twitter for a little bit, man. Like, it's a free for all, and you got to really like try and center yourself to maintain reality and figure out what is reality, what's hyperbole, where people are trolling. Some of this stuff is just people trying to get other people worked up. I don't know, man. It's and the recruiting thing. In the off season, this is all you got. And so people are really leaning into it. We were all negative about stuff even a couple days ago, Pat. And then now I'm getting messages. We're looking really good for a lot of these guys we really want. So it's like, I don't know what to believe, man. I don't know what to believe.
No, that's fair. I'm a guy that doesn't follow the ins and outs of recruiting. I've come to think that it's kind of unseemly for a person my age to, and I look, there's two types of recruiting analysis, right? There's the breaking down the tape, which I do enjoy to watch and listen and learn from, right? And then there's the guys, the recruiting experts, so to speak, that call 16-year-old boys on the phone and try to get to know them and figure out where they're going to go to school. That second part I find really unseemly and disgusting, and yet the people who do it for a living, are often the same people who are the most arrogant to interact with. So I don't really care who signs or doesn't sign. Wake me up on signing day when it's official, and I'll look at the highlight tapes and stuff. So I fall into that category, but I get that I'm in the minority here because it is important who signs with you and who doesn't sign with you, right? It's just before signing day, all these announcements don't mean much, in my view.
Yeah.
But I don't want to crap on the whole thing.
Yeah, it is. It's a wild. It's just a wild rat race, and the way recruiting has changed in the modern era has really ramped up everything. The clickbait, the drama. Goolsby sent me a text of a kid with the Notre Dame stuff on, like whatever. And the next post is he's in Miami stuff. And it's just like, it's a new era, man. It's like, I'm all Notre Dame. Look at my Notre Dame stuff. And then right after that, he posts a picture of him dressed up in all Miami stuff. And he's promoting to that fan base. Like, it is a wild world. I don't know where Commander is, you guys. He's been gone a couple days. I don't have him blocked forever. I don't know where he is. Maybe he got locked up. I don't know. So Pat, it's a wild new world out there. I am trying to remain as neutral as possible, take in the information I'm told behind the scene. I am just kind of neutral, kind of cautiously optimistic, but people are feeling better, and we'll see what happens later on this week. I don't know.
Well, I think that the dirty little secret about recruiting, the recruiting industry, is that it's basically all but over right now, right? Because number one, kids are signing with whoever pays them the most money. I don't want to have the discussion. I know you disagree to a certain extent, John. I don't want to have the discussion. I believe firmly that it's all about the money. But more importantly, number two is kids aren't talking to these recruiting experts anymore. Kids have agents that are talking to the schools, and agents, the last thing an agent wants is their client, their kid, to be blabbing to some recruiting expert about where he wants to go to school, because that could screw up the negotiations that the agent's in the middle of. So the day and age of these creepy 40-year-old dudes calling up 15-year-old boys on the phone and getting to know them and trying to figure out where they're leaning and all this garbage, thankfully that disgusting, distasteful practice is coming to an end, because these kids are getting agents, and the agents are telling those kids, you don't talk to anybody but me about where you're going to end up at school. We're going to get you the most money, and that's the way it's going to go down. So my point is, these recruiting experts, they really ought to find another line of work. Maybe they become pimps or something. I don't know what they're going to do with themselves, but the day of them talking directly to 15-year-old boys, it's over.
What do you
creeps got to find another occupation.
What do you think of this? Beefeater says the recruiting reporting industry is the is in the business of keeping themselves in business, using sensational takes and trying to jump the surprise. Yeah, it is a lot. Listen, man, you got to have a certain mindset to want to do that every single day with the recruiting angle. I love covering the Notre Dame stuff, but the recruiting part of it is a real challenge for me because I don't have the patience for a lot of these games, and I just it rubs me the wrong way. But I'm old. WPP, we're getting older, man. Maybe we're just not with the modern times. Like, I'm just getting too old to be stressing out over a tweet of a 17-year-old. Like, but that's what you got to do if you want to worry about this stuff. So I don't know where that leaves us.
Well, I just think that it's not a question of age; it's a question of morals. And by the way, you have a lot of idiots in your chat. There's some smart people like Renee. He's a smart guy, entertaining guy, good caller. I wish he would call in more. But most of the chat has consisted of really dumb people and some creepy people who say disgusting things. And I'm looking at some of it now. But I'm gonna turn my head, not even look at that stuff. The point is, John, there's something wrong with a middle-aged man calling up a 15-year-old kid.
That's their job. That's their job.
Well, I got news. I have nephews that age, and if some middle-aged man were calling up one of my nephews, I would beat that guy's ass.
It's just
disgusting.
But are you overplaying this a little? Like, it's just their job, man. Like, that is the job description, and certain people love looking into that and analyzing a high schooler's film. Like I don't know. I mean, that's the job.
John, analyzing film is totally different. I have no problem with analyzing film and saying this kid's going to project it. I got no problem with that at all. I'm talking about people who try to build relationships with these kids in order to get an inside scoop.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear about how it's their job. Their job is disgusting and distasteful.
Yeah.
They should register. The government should make them register. And you know what I'm talking about, too.
I do know what you're talking about, man.
John, there should be background checks. Once you register, you need to provide a background check to make sure you don't have any sex crimes on your background before you're allowed to even do this. It's so I don't want to get myself worked.
Yeah, this took a turn. This took a turn I wasn't expecting. It took a real hard turn there. So I don't know where this leaves us, Pat. It is frustrating and a wild ride here in the recruiting, and I don't know where it's going to go for Notre Dame. Can I ask though? Did you think that Notre Dame's run last year would have helped made recruiting a lot easier than it seems to have been? Like, did you expect that? Like, having the skins on the wall of winning some of these playoff games would make landing some of these key guys a little easier? Did you expect that? Or did you always think it's just going to come down to the NIL money and what you're promising and whatever, or maybe the NFL stuff? Like if you're putting guys in the league from that position group or whatever, like, what do you think?
Yeah, I've always been of the position the last couple of years that it's been about the money. I think NFL Draft Day has more. If we're putting the money issue to the side, I actually think NFL Draft Day has more impact on recruiting than national title appearances. I just do. I don't. And it's the sad part is I think it's the harbinger of the end of the sport because I don't know that kids care anymore if their team wins a national title or not. I mean, I'm sure they do on some level, but it's sure as hell isn't at the top of their lists anymore because we're watching the minor leagues. We're watching professional sports, on a lesser level, and winning national titles or bowl games or, unfortunately, I don't think it means what it used to mean, 15 years ago. I don't think we're there anymore. Anyway, I don't know how I got on this topic. If you give me another minute, do I have another minute? You have a lot of calls. I'll hang up.
Yeah, you got one more minute.
So I'm taking a hard look at the House settlement.
Yeah.
And
what do you make of that? It's pretty complicated to figure out exactly what all the details are. What do you make of it?
Yeah, it's 137 pages, and then the court issued an order, another 70-something pages. And so, number one, it's only going to be in place for 2 years. Right. And then it'll be stricken down because I'm going to give a quick tutorial, but I will. The antitrust laws apply to all economic activity. And it basically says that if you're a monopolist selling something, you can't just charge whatever the hell you want because monopolies get broken up. But the flip side is also true. If you're a buyer of a service, you can't get together with other buyers and limit the amount of money you're going to pay, right? And so 70 years ago, 80 years ago, baseball and football on a professional level had to get Congress to carve out exceptions to the antitrust laws, allowing them to get together and have drafts and rounds and pay scales and, salary caps and all that kind of stuff. College football is now a professional sport, and it doesn't have a congressional carve out on antitrust. And so there was another case called Alston, which came out before the House case, came out about 2-3 years ago. And Justice Kavanaugh on the Supreme Court took the case. He put a concurring opinion on, which people should Google that and read it. It's interesting. And he basically says, the next time we get a case on this and the NCAA is limiting the amount of money that schools can spend, it's going to get overturned under the antitrust laws. That's a long way of saying that unless Congress passes a law carving out the antitrust, this House settlement it's doomed legally in the next year or two anyway. But in the course of those 2 years, the last thing I'll end with, this cap, $20 million, and it goes up roughly $1 million a year, 4% a year. That's chump change. And so the question then is, how ethical is Notre Dame going to be? Because anything from an associated entity counts towards the 20 million. So if Brady Quinn runs out and gets an NIL, well, he's associated with the university. The money he brings in on his NIL is counting against the 20 million. It has to be totally separate third parties. And we all know the SEC is going to go back to these scummy bad men who are going to just give money under the table, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, we're right back to where we were with the SEC paying the players. And, watch, you'll see Saban get back into college football because it's the Wild West all over again. Everybody pays 20 million, and these scumballs like Saban will pay more than the 20 million to get all the best players, but he'll do it outside the parameters of the House settlement.
Yeah.
And so, anyway, it's just my 2 cents.
Yeah, it's it's going to be interesting to see how that all shakes out practically, what that all looks like when we get into it and this gets going. WPP, never boring, that's for sure. Thank you.
All right, man. Thanks for taking the call, John.
Have a good one. Oh man, I see your guys' chats. I don't know what to say. You never know what you're going to get. And it's always interesting. And sometimes you really disagree and it's way out there. But to me, like, you don't know what you're going to get. But I do like all you people that want to run my show for me. Feel free to start your own and answer whatever calls you want. Go for it. It's an open forum. You can do it. You don't have to just tell me what to do. You can go ahead and do your own. But it's just like, you never know what you're going to get with him. So it's really interesting. But it is funny to me how people, like, you set up this call-in show. You never know what you're going to get. Everybody has all these different opinions. And then everybody's just like, no, do what I want. I don't like this guy, John. So just you do something else. It's just like, you don't have to believe in every single caller, every single whatever's going on to sit there for 5 minutes in the middle of the summer. It's not like it's a post-game show and the guy's taking 20 minutes to do a weird dissertation about something. Give me a break. Oh, man. Yeah, he didn't talk about Miami. We're definitely going to lose now. He's not talking about Miami enough. Oh my God. EDP 445. I remember that. Oh my God. He's been out of sight, out of mind in jail or something. Do you remember that guy? That brings me back. Adam Dowling. Summer hasn't started yet, John. But like, you never know what you're going to get. You never know what you're going to get. You just, you take the calls and you see where they go. But it is the middle of the summer. I mean, I don't have 28 calls here of people that want to like talk football in the middle of the summer. The people that call get a little runway. I'm sorry. It isn't going to please everybody. But I mean, it's just life. And I'm going to tell you what's really, really funny, though. The ND oleosis. Everybody's naming my back disorder. Look at that. We have ND-oleosis, mediocritylosis. This is the real one. I got a bad case of B-coliosis. The most immature things that happen here are the best. They just really are. They just really are. Look at Carl. Carl. This is what makes this podcast lame at times. Just stupid people calling and John using, hey, Carl, why don't you dial in and bless us with your genius? Go ahead, Carl. I don't see nothing. It says Carl's calling with some brainiac Notre Dame thought. If you want to get in on the mix and do better, do better. Give me a call. Give me a call. WPP, yeah, if you got 8 in your heart, let it out. Like, I don't know, man. That was rough. Oh, that was rough. But yeah, Carl, I mean, you can't hit a home run every time at bat, buddy. You're just not going to. You're just not. How much time you got, buddy? Do you got enough to call? Then you could go ahead and do that. But it is funny, man. A lot of people want to be the producer. They really do. A lot of people want to be the producer. But it's of all the stuff we do in this whole ecosystem, the whole ecosystem, everything we do here, all the content or whatever. But it's just 10 minutes of one call in June, and it's like this whole show is garbage. It's just, I just can't help you. I just can't help you, man. Start your own show. Be my producer. Screen the calls for me, Carl. You want to do that? I don't have a call screener. This is not 670 The Score in Chicago. I don't have the ability to have a screener that looks at what's going to come on. Unbelievable. You can't hit a home run every time, people. 949, what's going on? Welcome to the show.
Thank you. And I can't believe the words that are about to come out of my mouth.
Uh-oh.
But I identify and agree with West Palm Pat, not just in theory, but also in energy about the recruitment. It's just crazy to me because in the end, I mean, who really cares about where Deuce Knight is right now? We got ours. And the bottom line is, what though the odds be great or small, old Notre Dame will win overall. Yeah. They should put those words in a song or something.
Yeah.
But
but do you see? I look at this every summer. It ends up like this, man. You don't have football. Everything is recruiting, and every recruiting loss feels like the end of the world. Like it just does. Everything gets amplified here. And and you ride the wave. It's awesome. You just ride the wave, and it's just the most, I don't know, man. Yeah. Okay. Patrick Cotter's going to push back on you. Yeah. And how have those famous words worked out over the last 35 years for us? What though the odds be great or small, we're going to win overall. It's good to have hope though.
Because overall, that's in the past. We got now. I'll push back on that. Bottom line is, it is what it is. Look for the good and bless the rest and move on.
Yeah,
we're still.
Yeah, man, it's tough. It is really tough to. I don't. There's something in the ether that makes it feel a little different this cycle. And my theory is. Notre Dame got so close to the promised land just to fall short. And I think that's like, it has people activating a different part of their fandom because you felt like you were really close, but you didn't get over the hump. And there's like a yearning for that, like the feeling of getting so close, but not getting the ultimate prize. I feel like that's ramped up some of the anxiety and the pressure on all this. Do you agree with that? I think I feel that it's like, we're so darn close, and it just makes everything feel like a huge existential deal. Does that make sense?
I hear what you're saying, and I don't disagree. That said, those of us who lived through the 60s and 70s, we have a different, I'll call it a knowing. We have a knowing that Notre Dame is back. The swagger is here. The confidence is here. We're okay with it because our time is now. It went away for a blip. You can't change that. We'd all love to, especially certain coaches, about 5 in a row. But the bottom line is we are where we are, and we're moving forward. And soon we'll, they're always going to bring up, we win 3 championships in a row. You're still going to hear, yeah, but you didn't win one from 1998 to 2025 after 3 in a row. But let's move to a more positive stance. There are there's really 9 Sundays before the day of kickoff. That's what I'm excited about.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. And it is interesting. You kind of bring up, like, with the recruiting thing, it's really interesting. You want all these good guys, and then if you don't land some of them, you have no choice but to move on and play with who you got and who you get. Like, it's a really interesting world to be in. The vortex of intense diehard fandom, especially in the off season, is really interesting to me. It's its own social experiment, how worked up everybody gets and tuned into all this stuff. It's a wild world out there.
Even when Era was stockpiling the top recruits, we had so much depth, and it was so long and so strong, but most of the guys didn't play anyway. So when it comes right down to it, it matters about who's on the field at a given time. And look at, there's one thought that says, wait until they show up for class. Well, even that's not going to matter. Look at Chris Tyree. Chris Tyree is now going to be at Virginia, Cal, I think it is. But the bottom line is his mom is still bought into Notre Dame. She loves Notre Dame just as much as you and I and everybody else. And her son's playing at a different school. God bless them both. And we just move on. We move on with what we have. Whoever shows up in an Irish uniform, I hope they contribute. And great for us if they do.
Yeah, it's man. Hey, you're right about that, man. And I don't know. It's just this time of the year is always super interesting. And so we're going to see how it goes. People are telling me to be cautiously optimistic about the rest of the week. And we're going to see how it goes. And the vibe of all of this is going to change. If you end up landing O'Brien or whatever thing, the whole energy is going to shift. And we're all going to ride this into August and get into camp. So we'll ride the wave, man. Just like Chad in LA. We're going to ride the wave. Hang 10, brother.
Absolutely. God bless you. God bless everybody listening. And go Irish.
Have a good one. Go Irish. Take care. What a nice guy. Carl Kramer. You don't need a screen caller. You can at least keep the guy on track. Did you not hear me try and do that? Again, man, the amount of people that want to tell me how to run all this, it's like, it isn't that serious, bro. It's a random call on a show in the middle of the summer. It isn't that serious. You could sit there and not like it for 10 minutes. I don't want a call-in show where everybody is thinking, yes, I totally agree with this. There's nothing controversial. That all makes perfect sense. Yes, I agree. I don't want that. That's boring. That doesn't even match my personality. Now, some things are a little extreme. Like maybe I think some of what WPP said surprised me outside the box. Carl, I don't know why I say that, Carl. Well, maybe I'm overreacting. I apologize, but I can't stand that guy. That's the point. That's it. You just nailed it. I want some callers like that where people are in the chat going, this guy's nuts. I like that. Mix it up. Mix it up. Oh, man. Look at this. Here we go again. I'm telling you what, intellectual competence is not something WPP lacks with that Notre Dame degree. Refreshing that an intelligent person dialed into the show after I hung up. $10 hour. Oh, man. I'm still thinking about me having BK oleoolitis. Andrew Gilmore. I think that's a good theory, John. My main man Martinez is coming up. I think that's a good theory, John. Is it a one-off or just a taste of what's to come? Many people, including the hiring AD Jack Swarbrick, saw Freeman as the next Dabo. It's, yeah, you have, you have a couple different dynamics. One of them is the actual on-the-field product. And nobody has any answers to that right now. And it's a matter of, is Notre Dame a one-off at that elite level or whatever? Or are we going to maintain? Is that not the biggest overall question for this next season on the field, not recruiting on the field? Is Notre Dame a one-off and they're going to fall back and you have a new quarterback and it's going to take a year or two to build this back up to get to that level? Or are you going to be able to maintain? Are you going to be able to maintain? That's a big question. In the recruiting, it's just, I honestly, genuinely thought it'd be a little easier coming off the title to recruit elitely. Or the title game appearance, I mean. And I'm just not sure you're seeing that. It's a little frustrating. Goolsby would say it isn't just about the overall on-field success of the overall team. But if you want elite wide receivers, are you putting them in the league and are you highlighting them on the field? And if you're not, it's going to be harder to get them. Like that kind of proof of concept is more what Goolsby's looking at. Like, oh, the team overall was really good. But if you're a wide receiver, are you putting guys in the league for my position in the first round? Chicken or the egg? Chicken or the egg? I don't know. So it's just interesting. But Andrew, that's where I feel like we're at. That's kind of where I'm at. I just feel like there's this anxiety of just, you got so close and you didn't pull it off. And everybody's just like eager to get to the next chance, the next thing. And the recruiting now is a big part of that. Jay Grizz with the biz. Even Josh Pate thinks Carr's going to be the best QB Indy's had in a long time. All right, let's go down this road. Even if he is, how long does it take us to get there? Do you get what I'm asking? Like Carr could very well be that. But how long does it take to get there? I think it would be an immature mistake to assume there's not going to be any growing pains or rookie mistakes, first-time starter mistakes. And it's similar to what I'm saying about the team overall this year. They're going to be very good. When? Do you get what I'm saying when I say I have confidence this Notre Dame team's going to be very, very, very good? When, though? Because I kind of need it week 1. I kind of need it in game 2. Do you get what I'm saying? Like it's not going to make me that happy if by the second half of the year and you have 3 losses, the team finds its stride and the new quarterback settles it. Nobody's going to be happy with that. So I have no doubt this team's going to be very, very good. When is it going to be good? And how good is it going to be? I don't know. It's going to be interesting. Jay Grizz with the biz. We got another batch of callers here. Yeah, I'm glad that makes sense to somebody other than me in my brain. I have confidence Carl will be good out the gate, and I get what you're saying. Yeah, that's the thing, man. It's going to be a really, really good team. You gotta be it early. You have no runway. You gotta be good early. There's no way around it. My main man Martinez. If you're on hold, you're going to be on the air. What's up, main man?
Hey, John, how are you, buddy?
I'm doing good. First things first, make sure you stay hydrated out there, man. I don't want you falling out on us. Stay hydrated. Stay safe.
Yeah. I appreciate you, man. That's going to get 106. I drank the Pedialyte. I got cherry pickle juice in me. So the heat doesn't bother me, man. I'm working on this trade. It's the cold. So,
yeah.
But I will, man. I appreciate you guys, man. Hey, one thing I want to ask you. What did you think about the interview with Joe Klatt?
It's good. Hey, listen, Freeman's getting better at his messaging and his delivery and his confidence with messaging and delivery. Like, I really think he's come a long way with how he handles all that stuff. So Freeman in an interview scenario is going to be good stuff. He always presents well. And, but at the same time, I mean, an interview's an interview, like land recruits. You know what I mean? Like, I like that, but like, I'd rather you land some good recruits than talk good. You know what I mean? Or maybe they're connected. So it's like, I take it with a grain of salt, but he's doing a good job. He knows how to get the messaging out.
I agree with you. The one thing, I have to agree fully with Wes Palm on
Hey, you're sounding a little muffled. Are you calling me from the mine shaft again?
No, hold on. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, that's a lot better. Thanks.
Sorry, Johnny.
Yeah.
I called it from the mine shaft. I'm sorry. Hey, real quick. I didn't get too excited about recruiting. You know, I'll be honest with you. All my life of being a Notre Dame fan, other than Manti Te'o's recruitment, man, I really wanted him. Like I tell you, I grew up with a lot of the Polynesians out here. So, but I have to agree with Wes Palm, Pat. Not until they sign is it all official, and then you get excited and then move forward. But with that being said, you know, even if they don't sign, then I know, and I think it's been proven, especially from last year, there's a plan B in everything. You know what I mean? Now, will it show on paper or on the field where we lack thereof? Of course. But I think that the coaching staff is in place. You know, that's how you brought in that GM from the Detroit Lions, right? And then you brought in Ash, who coached with Urban Meyer, who was an assistant coach for Lou Holtz. You bring in championship pedigree. You know what I mean? And you know, even with the coaches that he's brought in consistently, even with McCullough, right? The running back coach for that first Kansas City championship team and things like that. So he knows how to put the pieces in place to make those moves. But Wes Palm said it best right now. It's like it's become more of a money game rather than really having pride and thinking of the future. And I think Marcus is doing a good job of preparing these kids for that question, what are you going to do after football? And I think that's a good sell right there, regardless of the NIL money. I don't get too crazy about the recruiting. And this is, and I'll just leave you with this, John. The reason why I don't is because paper is paper. Everybody looks good in paper. I had a coach that I played for, you know, and he told his assistant, just run where they're not. He said he had tendencies. This is what they do on 4th and 7 on the left hash. This is what they do on 3rd and 2 on the right hash. This is what they do on second and 5 on the middle in the middle, and this is what they do. And he says to the coach, he says, just run where they're not. And I know that's easier said than done. But if you got a power game, you just recruit where they're not. You know what I mean? And with the players that we've gotten, they've been proven, especially with the proof on the D line last year and how they came through. And this is the one thing I'll say. I know everybody looked at RJ Oben for disappointment, and I know I've repeated myself, but it all doesn't throughout the season. It matters to a certain point, but when you get to where you need to, yeah, it's a nail biter for us, especially us Notre Dame fans. It's a nail biter. Everything's a nail biter, right? Louisville was a nail biter. Other than that, you know, we kind of just, you know, even USC was a nail biter up until we made those 2 dynamic defensive plays. But when the time came for those guys that we paid, why did we pay them? Why did we pay them? Hey, man, they show up. And you show up in that one moment, that's all that matters. Your whole statistics and ranked and this, that, and 24/7, I'm sorry. And I don't use lack of better word, but that BS goes out the window because you showed up at the moment you needed to. And that's all that matters. We didn't show up for NIU, but we showed up for the rest of the season. That's my opinion, John.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Am I making sense to you?
Yep. It makes sense. Yeah, it does make sense. And it's just, you're never, what I struggle with, you talked about like the recruiting, and then once they're in, then you believe or whatever. What's hard for me is I really struggle, and maybe it's generational and I'm getting old, but I struggle with, I struggle with a guy that verbally commits to a place and then takes a bunch more visits and fields all the other opportunities, because it's like, it's a commitment, but not really at all. It's like you're in a committed relationship, but you're on Tinder looking for new options at the same time. And it's like, it doesn't feel like you're very committed, but that's just the game now. And everybody seems to have accepted it other than me as an old guy. So I just got to deal with not liking how that hits me. I don't know.
No, Johnny, and you're legit. Let me tell you something, man. Up until a few years ago when I got into management, I started traveling a lot more. I went to El Paso, went to Miami, went to South Bend a few times, went to Arizona. Man, Miami, right? Crystal blue waters, golden sandy beaches, women that flock like the salmon of Capistrano, right? But you know what, man? Nothing feels more loving, man, or amazing than when I get to the University of Notre Dame, man.
Yeah.
Nothing. And I think Marcus is pitching that, man. I think that interview really sold that. And Johnny, I got to get back, man. I took a quick break, but I got to get back. They need me to slam these things down. So onward, Notre Dame. Love the chat, man. West Palm Pat, he's my new homeboy because he'll punch somebody in the face with his spit. And I like that. West Palm Pat, you're my homeboy, man. All right, buddy.
Oh, that's funny. Have a good one. I'm just picturing WPP and my main man Martinez as like a dangerous tag team combo out there. It just cracks me up just thinking of the dichotomy and how different they are, but then they end up on the same page. $10 holler from WPP. Another intelligent call by Renee. He must be lonely on this chat. Oh, this is tough in here, man. It's tough in these streets. Oh, man. That is really funny. I'm still laughing at the BK-oliosis. God, that's funny. Oh, that's good. 757, and then Mark with glasses. What's up, 757?
John, good morning, sir. John, my message is simple. Hey, I don't know if you ever do this, but this morning when I was walking the dog, I listened to your and Goolsby's pre-championship Monday Night Raw.
Ooh, interesting. Yeah.
So I think it's useful for us, right? Because I don't know, I'm not necessarily suffering from this, but right, like negativity around recruiting, kind of being overly anxious about the upcoming season, whether or not we're going to be, maintain our success this year, with a new quarterback dynamic. I don't know, man. I'm feeling pretty good, and I just it was helpful to think, it's not very long ago, where I think I also listened to the pre-A&M shows, the past little while. Like, if I just think back what we were hoping for, or kind of the vibe leading into last season or leading into the playoffs, at least for me, and, I graduated in 11, and I was there for all the Kelly failures. Like, I was like, my kind of mindset going into a big game was, please, God, don't let us get blown out. Because I was tired of the national embarrassment. Yep. I just wanted us to, put up a fight. I don't have that. I'm not worried about us getting blown out by Miami at freaking all. I think, whether or not we win or we lose, there's a lot of, factors that go into that. But I'm quite confident that the boys are going to go down there, that the quality athlete on the field will make us competitive, and Marcus Stream will have the boys ready to go. So,
you know what, man?
I'm very optimistic.
I was thinking about this, and I don't think it would be received very well. But what I was thinking about the other night is, how far Notre Dame's come in such a short window of time of having one blowout every year where you're just totally non-competitive and get totally blown out. And we're not having that now. The failures in the top 10 games and that kind of thing, the list of failures. And you kind of fought through some of that. sometimes I think we're always looking forward. It's hard to kind of appreciate that we made some big strides as a program here, but that also kind of sounds loserish. Like, well, you still don't have a championship, so it isn't good enough. Like, so quit patting yourself on the back. But it's like there are levels to this kind of thing, and Notre Dame's slowly been working their way up. It's a matter of, can you get over the ultimate hump?
Yeah, I mean, if anything, I would say those kind of like suspicions, right, which were very real after 2012, because right, like you do the regular season and then you have your one shot and we get mauled and it wasn't even close, right? And I remember being depressed after that. And then you make it to the playoffs again based on a regular season in 18 and 20, and it's not even close. I think we should all be comforted, right? Like there was a bit of a crucible, and we did have to play quality teams, and we did have to win one-on-one matchups, and we did have to score when we needed to, and we did have to put up a fight and come back in the championship game. The Irish did all that, and we didn't lose, outside of Leonard getting us 3-yard runs on third down or whatever. Like I'd say the core of that team that did all those things, the vast majority of those folks are back. And, maybe we'll be all cylinders running right out the gate, but Miami's got to play us too, right? And I don't know how you go in as a Miami fan. I mean, it's good for us to be worried, right? Not necessarily be overly confident, but like them boys got to play the Irish on the first week. And I would not feel good about that if I were them. So I think we should be, we owe it to ourselves to be confident in, I guess, from what the process that Marcus Freeman is in place, the way the program's going. Not that we shouldn't, we're not going to blow out every team by 40 or whatever, but I think we should have a healthy dose of gratitude and, confidence going into the season. Yeah, the expectation needs to be, we're in the playoffs and we make a run. And whether or not the ball bounces our way in a given game, I don't think it's going to be a thing where we literally have no hope against.
Yeah, I agree.
Have no hope at all.
I think there's too much talent. There's too much raw talent and depth in this program for you to be in that hopeless kind of situation again. I do believe that. And it's like, I want to have all these good feelings about 25. But you got to be honest with yourself. There's a lot of reasons for positivity about the beginning of this year, but there are also some really obvious landmines here that Notre Dame could step right into with a young quarterback on his first start on the road at Miami, a new defense with some changes there. You can't afford any busted coverage, miscommunication. The young quarterback gets pressure, and instead of throwing it away, he throws it to the Miami guy. Like, there's a lot of ways that this thing could cause some anxiety early. I need you to sidestep that. I need you to work through that. I need you to be able to overcome any mistakes you have. Like, this team's going to be damn good, but how good and how long does it take to get them there? That's my mindset.
I guess what you say, John, like that same, I used to have this feeling leading up to the big games. It's like almost desperation. Like I was desperate. Please goodness, let Irish look good on the big stage. I'm not feeling that at all. Like even if we have the disaster scenario, and hopefully I'm not speaking this into existence, and, Carr throws freaking 4 picks or something and it does go sideways in Miami, I don't think I'll feel that much different about the program than I do now, based on how well they did last year and how, you know, Coach Freeman has this going in the right direction.
Yeah. And,
I guess I'd just say, like,
go ahead.
Like, I'm not desperate. I'm not desperate. Like I was desperate for Georgia. I needed the boys to show up, and I needed them to beat Georgia to show that the program was going in the right direction, that we could compete against the best, that our athletes were getting friggin' hurdled like they did against Alabama a few years ago, that our boys could compete. I think we have decisively proven that, and I feel good about Coach Freeman over the next. I mean, I guess all I'm saying is I'm back on like a, Coach Freeman in my mind's got another 2 or 3 years really to see the fruit of improved recruitment, improved athlete. Because the football's oddly shaped. Whether or not the boys win this year, win next year, whatever, there's a lot of stuff that goes into that. But like to really get a measure of, are we for the first 2 games of the season? Yeah,
and here's something else that's giving me some confidence is Notre Dame. I made a huge deal heading into the A&M game last year about being mentally and physically and emotionally prepared to enter that moment with the heat, the loud crowd, the road game dynamic, all of that. Notre Dame prepared very, very well. Whatever they did worked because they were ready to play in that moment, and that is rare for us to see historically in the last 30 years in those type of environments. That gives me confidence. Freeman will know how to build this up in August to lean into that game, support the young signal caller, and be prepared for the moment. They did a good job last year, and I need you to do it again.
Yep. Hey, last thing, you posted in the Patreon chat, someone did, who's your favorite Notre Dame player? Listening to the pre-Ohio State raw chat, or raw video, I really liked watching Riley Leonard, and I know it wasn't pretty, and I just listening to that show made me think about that opening drive. The will to win that young man had, and his ability to put it all on the line. Given his limitations, that was pretty awesome. And so I just hope it seems like kind of the Sam Hartman love went away pretty quick, which I think is due to the nature of a one-year transfer, and that's not really achieving what we wanted. I hope Riley Leonard continues to be well received and well respected in the program overall. And he was really like I didn't put it in the chat, but now that after I think about that, he was really fun to watch. And it is something for some guy to put it all on the line for 2 yards over and over and over again when the other side knew that's what he was doing. So
yeah, you don't.
The boy's gonna be awesome this year, John.
Yeah, you don't make the run we made without him. I think of the third down he got against Georgia, where he did the flip on the sideline to get that third down to keep the clock running. Like, that's what you love if you're a Notre Dame fan, laying it all out on the line, sacrificing your body, knowing you're going to get rocked, and doing it for that Golden Dome and the 16-foot gold lady on top of it. Man, that warms my Irish soul, baby.
Yeah, it was good stuff, man. So, hopefully Carr Minchie just swings all over the rock, and that never happens. That never happens, so they're just throwing bombs or whatever. But, yeah, Riley Leonard was something to watch, and I hope, I guess I'll just leave it with that. Maybe worthwhile, in the middle of the summer, go to re-listen to some of the older videos or chats or whatever. There's a lot of good stuff going on in Irish land, and I think the boys are going to be good, and I really appreciate what Coach Freeman is doing. And, yeah, we are way past the freaking dark days of not hoping to get blown the F out by Big Game Brian Kelly. So I think it's all good stuff.
Hey, man, thanks a lot for the call and the support. You have a good day there. That guy, man, he's got ideas and they come out quick. My brain ain't quick enough to process them. Oh, crap. Oh, this is funny. Yeah, listen to this. Mark, you're coming up. This is another one. I'd seen something that said Michigan isn't getting any repercussions and Moore doesn't have to sit out any games. Yeah, and then you go over to the Buckeye scoop and they're saying, oh, the hammer's coming down and they're getting nailed and they're going to take away, they're not going to be eligible for the playoff for 4 years. Like, again, just like the recruiting, who do you choose to believe in? Why? Who do you choose to believe and why? Like, somebody's got to be dead wrong. When I hear, oh, Michigan, they're not getting nothing, don't worry, a slap on the wrist, maybe a little fine, you lose 2 or 3 scholarships for a few years. Nothing to see here. And then there's some other people that have it where you're getting totally nailed. So I don't know what gives. Mark with glasses, what's going on, bro?
Oh, not a whole lot going on over here. Thanks for lighting the candle for my daughter the other day. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem, man. Happy to do that, and lucky to have a lot of people that are always on campus every day. And I say that to the whole group. I'll let me know, and then I just send a text or two, and somebody will get it lit. So if that matters for people, let me know.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. She's 24, so on Monday I had to take her to get her MRI on her brain, and I was telling her, I was like, I'm missing the show for this, right? And she's like, cracking up, calling us nerds for doing this show 3 times a week, year round. And the kind of funniest part of it is, she's kind of a nerd herself. She's got like 2 degrees. She works in a library and a museum, and she plays Dungeons and Dragons. So us calling us nerds was really something. And actually, she's such a nerd. I don't know if you remember this, but in the Georgia post-game show, she super chatted and corrected your grammar. So that kind of explains it all. But
there we go.
But anyway, so appreciate that. During the Patreon Monday night, I was I was ready to throw in the towel and ask why we're even trying. Everybody we're getting is suspect, slow. All the wide receivers suck. So I'm going to attempt to spin zone some of this, and
Okay.
I'm only casually up to speed on stuff. I'm no Andrew Gilmore reading all the articles or anything.
You're about to enter the spin zone. Feel free. Let it fly.
So, spin zone. So I know they're both plots, but I really like this Bubba and Faison. And I think if they get Fitzgerald and Finley, I think it's crisis averted. And with kind of talk to the recruiting and the wide receiver recruiting and production, it's like that's like more based on like system style and quarterback than anything else. Like if you look at the best passing offenses, and they all have good quarterbacks, we were just 101st in the country in passing. And I think the last time we were quote unquote statistically good was Jack Cohn. You know, and that year, 282 yards passing a game. I mean, can you even imagine that after last season? And, you know, that year, like he had Mayer, but his receivers that year were Austin, Davis, Lindsey, and Lorenzo Styles. So, you know, I think there's some perspective there. And for, you know, spin zone on wide receiver recruiting, you know, like ESPN's top receivers going into next year, 4 of the top 10 were 3 stars out of college and were, you know, next to nobody. And they're, you know, ranked 90th or worse in their position of their class. And I just think there's different ways of doing it, different ways of piecing it together. And a good quarterback makes the receiver core better. And our receivers we had last year getting a bum rap because of the inability to throw the ball. So that's some of it. Am I crazy?
No, I get it. It's just, Mark, it's just weird. There's so many. Here's what it feels like. There's so many really, really, really good things going on in the program and position groups that are developed and it turned out to be elite and really, really good. And it just feels like the program's at the point where that stuff is in the bank now. And like all the focus is on an area where we perceive it isn't good enough. And I just feel like the passing game is the easy, like the easy target here. And where we're at there. And I still think the quarterback play has a lot to do with this. That could open and change this whole discussion if the young guy can sling it around a little bit and Notre Dame can present a more effective, dangerous pass game, and it makes those receivers come to life. They're more engaged. They're getting more chances to contribute. That's got to downstream help recruiting in some way. Like that all, there's a lot riding on this passing game opening up this year. Do you agree?
Yeah, and I think so. And you look at the you know, the top passing offenses like Syracuse, Ole Miss, Texas Tech, LSU, even USC was up there. And like, how are they doing it? Like, what's their? I didn't do a comparison, but I do think there's kind of different ways of doing it, piecing it together, and then similarly to the defensive line, they have got the same thing where they rated the best ones, and they've got Texas Tech rated the number 3 defensive line going into next year, and they brought in 4 players from the portal. And so, like, they're doing it that way. We all know that GM, obviously, but, you know, half of that list is rated lower than Elijah Golden when they were recruited. And, you know, we've got, this is speaking to just to the interior defensive linemen. And we all suspect, you know, Tiki Holo is going to rise because he's underrated. But, and then, like, big picture, if we get O'Brien, you know, we've got Ebenezer, Dunham, if we get Adams, like, we might end up with 4 or 5 stars. I mean, yeah, they're all on defense, but it's still kind of crazy to think about.
Yeah, it's, oh, man, I get it. And then, Mark, are you buying into this recent optimism. You were on the Patreon chats last night. Goolsby was on there. We were going back and forth on the board. And it turned from all of the world is ending Monday night, where everybody felt like shit after that live stream, after Raw. And then a couple days later, I log into the chat and people are like, we're trending up. Everything's going to be fine. Like, we're looking good. Be optimistic. Are you going to buy into it emotionally? What are you going to feel approaching that O'Brien decision? Like, are you totally neutral or are you starting to buy in? What do you think?
Well, I was talking to Tom Frawley the other day, and he said kind of how I feel. It's never as bad as it seems or as great as it appears. But if this turns out with this recruiting and all these recruiting guys on Twitter were full of shit, I'm about ready to follow all of them, because I feel like they've been doing clickbait. If this doesn't turn out right, I don't know if they've got made up information or whatever the case may be. But yeah, it was like after this weekend, there's all this excitement. So this better amount to something, because all of them were kind of collectively doing it in different ways and flip-flopping on guys and logging predictions. And so I see exciting developments, and obviously it's a work in progress. I think it's fine to be critical of, even still wide receivers and defensive line, but it's a work in progress.
Yeah, it is. And I don't know. We're going to wait and see, man. We're going to wait and see. And it's just, you got to keep in mind this time of year, everything gets magnified beyond proportion. It just does. And I'm prepared for that. And so we're just going to see. We're going to see how it goes. I'm trying to be pretty neutral, but I have with these top guys, I'll wait and see. I'm just going to lay low.
Yeah. And I think, I don't know, but on the way out, one of these Saturday nights, it'd be awesome to try that live show with Goolsby again and have him do some stories and off topic Q&A or something, and maybe submit some subjects beforehand, and I think that'd be cool. I got one question in particular that's only appropriate for an after dark show.
Yeah, I like that. We're gonna crank it up. I'm thinking like from 4th of July on, we'll start the build up with some weekend shows carrying us into August. Yeah. That's kind of what I'm thinking.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Crack some lids.
Yep. We'll crack them. Mark, anything else?
That's all I got. Thanks for taking my call.
Have a good one, Mark. That candle's still burning, brother. I got you. John, care to comment in Bill and Jordan's alleged marriage? But that whole thing is weird to me. The whole thing rubs me wrong. Let me be clear about it. Pat, I see you. It isn't. I understand an old established guy that wants a cute, in-shape girl half his age as a trophy or to walk around. That has been around as long as time. That's not weird to me. But when it blends into football, then I start having a problem. Like, I totally get I know some people think it's creepy of an older guy and a girl half the age and the power dynamic, and that's weird. I'm not even thinking about that. I understand that dynamic. That's been around forever. An older guy that's established and has all the money and credibility, and then you want a girl half the age and in good shape, whatever. When it starts getting into the job, that's where I have a problem. Hearing that she's making interview decisions, hearing that she was involved with the Hard Knocks thing and getting involved in North Carolina football business. When I saw her with those knee-high boots walking out on the field during spring ball, rubs me the wrong way. No. It would, if Freeman's wife was doing this, I'd have the same reaction. I have nothing against Belichick or anything. I don't care. It has nothing to do with that. It's when it starts getting into the football, I have a problem. You're not involved with that. So don't run out on the field during spring ball acting like you're running things. Don't tell this guy that has all the football credibility in the world what he's going to say in an interview or not. That's where I have the issue. So I don't know. Whatever. Hope he's got a prenup when he croaks or whatever, or she gets bored with them and wants to go find the next grift. Whatever, man. I'm sure it's real love, though. Just like every time you see a rich millionaire old dude that isn't attractive with a hot babe half the age. I'm sure it's all genuine, though. Trust me. Give me a break. Pat, what's going on?
Hey, John.
What's up?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
So I just not trying to start a fight with anyone, not trying to kick up anything. Don't want to be called a low IQ school. But I'm just curious, what is the difference between a 40-year-old coach texting and calling a kid, a 16, 15, 17-year-old kid all the time, versus a reporter who does it like once or twice every couple of weeks? Like, if one is creepy, shouldn't the other be creepy?
Yeah. Well, isn't that his thing? Is that that whole kind of ecosystem is creepy, kind of?
If that's the take, I'm totally fine with that.
Yeah.
I am totally fine with that. Just think, if one is wrong, the other should be wrong too, in my mind. I could be easily persuaded to disagree. But I just, like, I mean, what? Harbaugh slept on a kid's couch. We've heard countless stories of guys sleeping outside of kids' houses in cars.
That's true.
College coaches do a lot of creepy shit when they're recruiting players.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, they go out of their way. Girlfriends into schools on full rides on track teams, and they don't go to track. Like,
yeah,
it's colleges are just as creepy. My whole thing with the recruiting, it's not what the coaches are doing. It's not what the recruit, like the Tom Lemmings and the On Threes and what those guys are doing. My problem with it is the people on Twitter, on social media, who will tweet at these kids, who will name call these kids when they don't pick their school.
Yep.
I mean, we're talking like 17, 18-year-old kids, and you're 45 years old, and you're going to call them an idiot or a low test person.
I hope you tear your ACL. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the stuff. Like, the other two people, they're actually getting paid. Like, the coaches and the recruiters, they're getting paid to do a job. So obviously there's acceptance in the industry for it. So I don't have a problem with it. But it's the individuals who go after these kids and make it personal because the kid didn't pick their school. And I'm not just saying people with Notre Dame. I'm just in general, just like when they get upset about these decisions these kids make. That's what's truly disgusting in my mind. That you're an adult, you have a life, you have a job, you have a mortgage, you have kids, and you get so overwhelmed by a decision made by a 17-year-old.
Yeah.
That just blows my mind.
Okay, WPP has responded. A coach calling a kid is trying to sell the kid something, NIL, money, a scholarship, etc. The recruiting expert is just trying to gather gossip. I mean, I guess you could just argue that that's the business. That's their job. Just like the coach's job is to pitch the scholarship in the NIL, the recruiting guy's job is to pitch, go read my article, I guess.
Right, exactly. And so, right, that's the job. They're getting paid to do it. If the kid doesn't want to talk to him, he doesn't have to take the call. And in second, if the recruiting expert is getting it from the kid, it's not gossip. It's not gossip. Gossip is when people are talking about something behind their back, saying things that may or may not be true.
Yeah.
Where they're getting it from a source. Directly from the kid, it's not. And again, I'm just trying to point out there's just a difference in how this situation kind of works out. And at the end of the day, these people are paying for it, and the kids know who they're interacting with because they're coming from legitimate sources or I should say agencies, news agencies. And therefore, like, they're willingly the kids are willingly participating in it. And if the kid doesn't want to talk to them, they don't talk to them.
Yeah.
That's kind of, and I agree with the take on the agent. The agent should say, you don't talk to anyone. I completely agree with that. If I'm one of these kids, let me put it this way, forget the agent part. If I'm one of these kids' parents, I'm telling that kid, you do not talk to anyone at all without me knowing it, number one. And number two, you should only be talking to coaches. You should never be talking to anyone not affiliated with a college program. That would be my stance as a parent.
Yeah.
Now, my parenting style and other parenting style is different. whatever. But also, I mean, now we're talking about these kids are dealt with millions of dollars. So fundamentally, I agree with West Palm Pat with where he's coming from. But I just, I kind of like, where do you draw a line? If it's creepy for one, it's creepy for another. Everybody's trying to sell everything. The newspaper writer, the recruiting expert, he's trying to sell a story, and he needs the kid. The coach, he's trying to sell a program because he wants to keep his job. He wants to get promoted. He wants to do more. He wants to do better. He wants to win championships and get more money. Everybody's using this kid for something. And not everyone is using them in a negative fashion. They're also looking out for the kid, but everybody's using the kid at the end of the day.
Yeah, and I am going to say this. I'm going to stand up for the Notre Dame collective recruiting media here. Notre Dame's recruiting niche, like the key players in that, they do a pretty good job of trying to be fair and accurate. A lot of these other fan base media legacy recruiting people, they stretch it to the point of writing blatant lies to get clicks. The Michigan people stand out like on top of that list of lying just to get content clicks. The Notre Dame people don't always hit it right, but they at least try. Like, there's nobody in our niche, even the people that don't like me in this niche, I will vouch for and say they try and do an honest job in recruiting. So I'm going to vouch for our like niche media people on that. They don't always nail it right, but they try and be pretty darn accurate. So our people are pretty honorable with that.
Yeah, sure. So that was it. And then as far like at the end of the day, his topic got me thinking about just kind of recruiting in general. And it's just, watching like what happened with some of those kids coming into Michigan last week or week before or whatever it was, like, I just don't care. Like, I don't care. Do I want Notre Dame to get those kids? I know, I saw it.
Yeah, I know. What the hell's going on here? What's the deal? Is the world coming to an end?
I like how you and I just had a conversation because I saw your eyes.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it.
But I just don't get worked up over it. Do I want Notre Dame to get these kids? Yeah, I want Notre Dame to get every kid they target. But again, for Notre Dame, and I would think especially the alumni who are in here listening, getting the kid to play for Notre Dame means more than just money. So you can't just go, this is my opinion again, you can't just go and try to buy these kids because Notre Dame is not just about money. Notre Dame is more. And being always on the outside of Notre Dame, never truly in the family, but being a person who's always gone and visited, it's felt like when you go to Notre Dame, it does nothing but cost you money. But the idea that we just should go and buy kids in recruiting, that just never sat well with me. And I always thought that would never sit well with alumni. Because I think any kid you recruit to Notre Dame, you would want them to want to go to Notre Dame first. And then you bring the money. And we know, we do know, you told us the stories from what you hear from your insiders. Notre Dame is paying well. These kids are making money from Notre Dame. But I think it's the wrong idea to say, oh, we lost because we don't get into a bidding war with the kid. If the kid is going to a bidding war, he's probably not a good fit for Notre Dame, and you're going to end up paying him millions of dollars. Again, this is speculation on my part. You're going to end up paying a kid millions of dollars for him to transfer after 1 year. Was that good resources of your NIL money, or is it better to focus at?
Can I ask you Can I ask you a specific question about that? This is something that came up on the Monday night Patreon show. Are you open to the idea that, say, with like wide receiver, where we have a perception that we need to kind of catch up and up our game with recruiting and wide receiver depth and all that? Are you open to Notre Dame paying a little more out of their NIL kitty, feeling like it's such an urgent need, they're willing to extend themselves a little bit to get that group up to snuff? Are you okay with that, or do you think that's dangerous? Or like with the Finley kid, you're like, I really want him, we need to pay more to get him in here. Like, are you open to that, or you think that's dangerous when you start playing that game?
I don't think that's dangerous at all. Here's my thing. So there are kids who want to come to Notre Dame who I'm sure will go to somewhere else because of money, because Notre Dame doesn't want to get into the bidding war. But at the same time, I don't think Notre Dame should go do a bidding war for every kid. The right answer here is and this is where I say trust in Marcus Freeman. I'm all in on Marcus Freeman. He has earned the right to make these decisions. But at the end of the day, if he feels that kid is a right fit for Notre Dame, but the financial situation for his family, whatever, mom's got cancer and needs help, whatever the situation may be, if that kid feels like he needs to take the money over Notre Dame because he's got to make sure he takes care of his family, Notre Dame should absolutely go in on that kid. Notre Dame should absolutely go in on that kid. But if it's a situation where it's was it Deuce? I mean, Deuce wasn't necessarily about the money. He was just kind of bouncing all over the place about who's going to pay me the most. He bounced all over the place after Notre Dame. And the same thing with the kid from, I think that's at Oregon now, from Michigan. He bounced all over the place when it came to money. And no, I don't think you go in on a kid like that. Or the kid the defensive tackle at Miami that came out of Chicago. You don't go in on a kid like that because they're just looking for the highest bidder. So a kid is just looking for the highest bidder is not necessarily the right kid to come to Notre Dame. But a kid that wants to come to Notre Dame, but has extenuating circumstances where maybe, he's got to take the money because he's worried about something else. Yeah, go in on that kid. Get that kid. Spend the money on that kid. If you think he's the right fit for Notre Dame and he's going to be a player that improves the program, spend the money. Get the bid on him. But don't just go bid on everybody.
Yeah. Kent Jackson asks you, all right, Pat, answer this. Do you think Riley Leonard actually cared about Notre Dame beliefs and values when he committed, or was it the money in the NIL and NFL that enticed him?
Oh, 1,000% Riley Leonard cared about the image of Notre Dame. I think Riley Leonard wanted to come to Notre Dame even before, but he wasn't recruited there. Riley Leonard was all in on Notre Dame, the Notre Dame experience. I would say Riley Leonard was more in on that Notre Dame experience more than Sam Hartman. Hartman, I would have said, was probably more about all of the stuff you just said, Kent. Riley Leonard was not. Riley Leonard was about Notre Dame, which is why I think Riley Leonard found more success at Notre Dame than Sam Hartman did.
Yeah. Good. That's really good stuff, Pat. Thanks for calling in. It's been a while. I know you're busy and had a busy summer. Appreciate you calling.
Yeah, my pleasure. Talk to you later. Bye.
Have a good one, buddy. How much time you got, buddy? Last caller of the day, 502. We're talking to you. What's going on?
Hey, John, thanks for taking my call.
No problem.
A few things, if I may.
Sure.
A little off subject, but it is off season. Someone was, I thought, was absent from last season, even though we had a great run. As far as alumni goes, does anyone know, was there an issue with Joe Montana? I just did not see him anywhere. I didn't see him at any games. I didn't see him in the Here Come the Irish series. You got any inside info on that?
That is a terrific question. I do not have the answer to that. I do know. How do I want to say this? I don't have a good answer for that. But he didn't. I went to the reunion dinner for his championship team a couple years ago. They had a big dinner in one of the buildings before the game. And when and he didn't show up for that. And it was the championship reunion dinner for like his team, and he didn't show up for that. So I don't know if he just kind of does his own thing. I mean, Pat's saying he did all those Guinness ads. We remember that. I don't know. So, and I don't know if any of it has to do with his kid, like his kid's experience at Notre Dame. It just feels like he doesn't have the most comfortable dynamic with Notre Dame. But I don't want to speak out of turn. I don't know that. I was a little surprised he didn't show up to the reunion of his own championship team, but he's Joe Montana. I don't know. Maybe he resents what happened with his kid on the team or whatever. I don't know. He just kind of does his own thing in California, I think.
Yeah, I don't know. I just would have liked to have seen him around. It's good for marketing. It's good for the program. It's good for the team. Anyways, that's all I
wait, one more thing. Some people are saying there may have been a Kelly issue. And the further you get away from the Kelly stuff, maybe he'll come back in the fold. But I am not going to sit here and say I find it hard to believe that Kelly rubbed somebody the wrong way. I am not going to be that messenger. So I'm definitely open to the idea that he didn't enjoy the Kelly experience, and who the hell did? Let's be honest.
Well, that's true, but like that's old Kelly's old news. I mean, that was 3 seasons ago. You know?
Yeah.
The bad taste should have worn off by now. Anyways, all right, that's all I got. Thanks for taking my call. Have a good summer.
Have a good one, man.
Go Irish.
Yeah, give me a call again. Take care, buddy. How much time you got, buddy? That was a one-off. I just kind of was hoping to see Joe Montana when I got invited to go. John, do you want tickets to go to this dinner for the reunion of the championship team? And you have all those old boys coming back, and he wasn't there. I'm like, come on, you're the quarterback. I want to see Joe Montana here. Peter, 100%, 100%. That's the idea. That's how we get this thing to the next level. Is hey, I'm doing this show and I want John up there to introduce me, or like I want him to come on a podcast and we just shoot the shit, like whatever it is. Like that's the goal, man. I want it to be where Gillis is like, yeah, I'm gonna do some Notre Dame stuff, but I want my boy Always Irish there with me. Like whatever it is, that's what I want to try and do. Yeah, you're absolutely right. You're probably the reason Montana didn't show up. The last thing he wants to be around is fanboys. I'm going to tell you, WPP, I'm with you a little bit on this. Ronald says, oh, please. Ronald, some people still have dreams. I realize that your life's dreams are draining out in a French fry fryer right now. Some of us still have dreams in our lives. Don't bring me down. Because the highest you ever got in life was the fry station manager during breakfast. Here's something I think's creepy. We'll end this show with something I think's creepy. What I think is creepy is I don't like adult autograph people. It's really creepy. You want WPP? Maybe you'll agree with me or not. You want to talk about adults being creepy? That's what I think is creepy. Is you ever see somewhere where there's an autograph thing and you have all these like 7-year-olds that want their autograph, and you got these 45-year-old men bullying in there and getting the autograph or whatever. Bro, get a life. And I know it's like, oh, I put it on eBay and I make my money off that. There's something creepy about adult autograph seekers, the way they operate. I don't like how they like bully their way around kids to like, and you're like a 50-year-old nerd and you want to get this autograph and put it on eBay. There's something with that bothers me. It's always bothered me. The adult autograph seeker weirdos. And to me, you're weird either way. If you're an adult who just wants to do that to put it up in your room, that's kind of weird that you're elbowing 7-year-olds out of the way to get an autograph to put it on your wall. And if you're it just kind of weirds me out. It just kind of weirds me out a little bit. So I don't know. Mark, leave Pete alone. That's different. Leave Pete alone. That's different. Except I will say this, except when people ask me for my autograph. It's real fun. It's every tailgate. There's a couple like cute kids that see me on the TV, and to them, I'm on TV because the dad puts the show on the TV and streams it. It is fun to like. They'll be like, "Can I have your autograph?" And I write, "That's right, Always Irish," and it's and that's fun, and the kids get a little thrill out of it, and it's fun for me. But that's different because they're kids. They're kids. It's totally different because they're kids. Nick, Nick, I'm talking about the ones who will like elbow a 7-year-old in the face to get up in the line to get an autograph. Like, there's a lot to this. I don't like the people that are like pushing kids out of the way to get an autograph and you're like 50. Like, can you let the kids have their little moment? Vaughn says, nobody wants your autograph, John. I just told you a couple cute little kids do. Give me a break. I'm not saying anybody important wants it, but it's funny when every tailgate, a couple kids are like, you're on TV, will you sign my hat? And I think it's cute. And it builds my self-esteem a little bit, so back off. Oh God, Angela, I have John's autograph on my wall. That's a little creepy, Angela. I'm gonna let that. There's a lot of offshoots. Me and Pat can go with that. We're just gonna leave that. That's a good spot to end the show. That's gonna be it. We had a lively show today. Let's see what happens Friday. I thank you for the calls. I thank you for the donates. I thank you for the chats. I thank you guys for all of that. We lay off me. I'm starving. We'll be live Friday, and we're gonna see what's going on with Joey. We'll see what's going on with Joey. But this was a lively show. Thanks for everything, guys. The calls, the calls, the chats, the donations, all of it. Thank you very much. Have a good rest of your day. Take care.